Morning people, welcome back to F Politics. This is evil. This isn't difference of opinion, this is just straight up evil. The Reform Party spokesperson for housing, Simon Dudley, saying that the safety regulations that came in after 72 people died in the Grenfell Tower fire have gone too far. And one of the arguments he used for this is that, well, everybody dies in the end anyway. And you're going to see a lot of people condemning what he said, most importantly of which, the Grenfell survivors. And I reached out to some of the Grenfell survivors organizations, for example Samir Badani, the chair of the Bramley House Tenants and Residents Association, who said, "We're not talking about fate. We're talking about 72 lives lost in a disaster that residents have been warning about for years. Grenfell was the result of decisions, failures in a system that did not listen to the very people it was meant to protect." Yana, the leader of Space Youth, said, "The correct response is not dismissal, it's action. We need stronger laws, stricter regulations, and real accountability to ensure buildings are safe and that a tragedy like this can never happen again." But I'm going to defend him so that you can see clearly that that condemnation is entirely justified. Because the argument he uses in the interview is that you'd be causing a lot more suffering in general by not building houses fast enough because you're not dealing with the homelessness problem. But here's the problem with that. You can't say that you are arguing to cut safety regulations in the name of compassion for people who are suffering due to the shortage of housing, and at the same time do that by arguing that people dying isn't that big a deal because we all die anyway. Like, you can argue that it's unlikely that you're going to die from a house fire, which he does do in the article, but by making the "we all die in the end anyway" argument, you're showing your hand. You're showing that you don't care at all. That's what makes it evil. But let's even take your argument at face value. The problem we're dealing with is we have not provided enough homes for people to live in. There are 1,000 other ways you can address that problem without compromising on safety. There are well over 1 million empty homes in the UK, well over 700,000 second homes in the UK, so rich people. And ultimately this does come down to cost. Businesses don't want to spend money making the houses that they build safe, which is kind of how we got here in the first place. The residents of Grenfell complained multiple times that the cladding on their building was not safe, but the council and the companies that provided the cladding didn't want to pay for the safe stuff. Hell, they even lied to the residents that they had put the safe stuff on. They were happy to let working class people risk burning to death, and that's exactly what happened. Worse still, one of the reasons that cladding went on in the first place was to improve the view from the luxury flats across the way. So it was a conscious decision to risk letting working class people burn to death to give richer people a nicer view. The gap between the rich and the poor is fundamental to the Grenfell tragedy, because we are one of the richest countries in the world, but we're also one of the most financially unequal countries in the world. For example, the richest 50 families in the UK own more wealth than the bottom 35 million, i.e. the bottom half. So we could have the government spend serious amounts of money to build social housing so that we don't have a homelessness problem. But in that same interview, the Reform Party spokesperson for housing, Simon Dudley, refuses to commit to that. Why? Because the Reform Party is all about making the poor poorer and the rich richer. Their tax plans are designed to benefit the rich more. Their healthcare plans are designed to give the rich better healthcare.
I would feel more comfortable that my money would return value if I was able to do that through the marketplace of an insurance company.
Hell, even just this week they admitted that the people that will benefit the most from their holiday tax plans are people who can afford to fly within the UK.
Greatest beneficiaries of this tax cut will be people flying within the British Isles. So a family, say, from London, catching a flight down to Newquay.
So when the Reform Party's housing spokesperson tries to downplay the significance of working class people dying in house fires, it's not because the Reform government would prioritise getting as many houses built for them as possible, because he's not even willing to commit to that. It is simply because working class people do not matter to him. He is a private school kid turned banker turned Reform Party politician. Now, while I was editing this, the Reform Party fired the guy, but they knew who he was when they hired him. They didn't fire him because of who they was, they fired him because his words were publicized. The Reform Party chose their side long ago when it comes to the housing of working class people. They had a chance to vote for the Renters' Rights Act, which shifts the balance of power towards tenants against landlords. And they voted against it because, again, they're on the side of the rich. So firing this guy wasn't a morality exercise, It was a publicity one. And yes, I am going to link this to Brexit because I'm going to let you in on something. Do you know why no Reform Party politician will ever go on TV with me? It's because I can ask them 3 very simple one-word answer questions and it will prove to everybody watching that they are evil. The first is, what is the policy that your party was created to deliver? To which the answer is Brexit. The next question is, what was the specific Brexit policy that your party was pushing for? To which the answer is no deal. To which the third question is, can you name a single successful economy on the planet that doesn't have any trade deals with its closest neighbours? To which the answer is no. Which means the Reform Party was explicitly created to push the UK in a direction that every successful economy on the planet has chosen specifically to avoid. The only way of interpreting that is that the Reform Party, at its core, is about economically harming the UK. And the Reform Party has admitted that their Brexit policy has hurt the UK.
We're getting poor for a variety of reasons, of which Brexit is one.
So in order to sign up to a party that objectively and obviously damaging to the 70 million people of this country, it does require a complete lack of empathy. And that's how you get politicians who can watch 72 people be killed in the Grenfell fire and say, well, everybody dies anyway. I'm Femi. Make sure you follow F Politics so politics doesn't F you. Have a great week.